Hello, folks. Welcome. I am Jones Osaid. Welcome to the program. Now, we are going to have the program in two parts today. The first part will deal with the Nigeria Airways post-liquidation troubles. And in the second part, we'll delve into the Made in Nigeria Goods campaign, which is to be flagged off in Lagos on the 5th, well, from the 4th through the 5th of December. So you stick around. Now let's go. The Nigeria Airways Limited, the country's national carrier, was liquidated by the executive fiat, I should say, in September 2004 by the Olusegun Obasanjo presidency. The debate about the propriety of the order is far from being settled. By far the most insalutary fallout of the saga is the unwholesome fate of thousands of former staffers of the airline. 13 long years after the grounding of the Nigeria Airways, the severance entitlements of workers is still at issue. So what are these issues? We'll make to find out this morning. And let me introduce my two guests. Dr. Steve Mahonwu is an administrator and an ex-staffer of the Airways. I greet you.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
Great to have you grounded here for now.
Temporarily.
And then Helen Efue, Mrs., is also an ex-staffer of the airline. Also, she was in charge of marketing and communications. Madam, I greet you too.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Beginning with you, let's look at peculiar post-liquidation troubles of the Airways. Where would you want to start from?
I'd like to start from the one that touches thousands of staff, just like you said, very closely. And that's the fact that so many years after 11, 12, government has not found it compelling to pay the severance entitlement, to pay the pension entitlement, in spite of the visible suffering of this staff all these years, and in spite of constantly knocking on the doors of government and asking and appealing and, you know, making petitions, and they've just turned a deaf ear until recently, when, in fairness to Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, thought it good and necessary to take action on this, and actually directed that this settlement should be made, this money should be paid. One of the reasons we're here today and talking to the government and to Nigerians is because we have actually been so quiet for so long, and our people are dying, and we just wanted everybody to know, to bring this to their knowledge, so that we can all add our voices, citizens alike, not just those who work for Nigeria Airways, to appeal to government to please rest this matter to, you know, rest it for once and for all, so that people can have their lives back and go on with their lives.
Yeah, Dr. Mahonwu, a figure comes to mind here. 45 billion naira has been reportedly approved. Can you confirm this?
Yes.
Okay.
The presidency released the approval notification to Nigerians. It was published by the media, both print and electronic media. But before the issue of approval, I want to give a scenario what led to the liquidation of Nigeria Airways. The president then in office, you know him more than I know him, was in a wrong rush to liquidate Nigeria Airways, based on, not only on the performance of the workers, because Nigeria Airways pilots and engineers were classified as one of the best in the whole world. Yeah. The administrators who I belong to, the commercial men, were classified as one of the best in the whole world. People are loaning, asking us on loan.
Yeah, true.
To be sent from here to this country to this place. Our men dominate ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization, and IATA.
Are you saying this as at 13 years ago when?
As at that time.
As at 13 years ago?
Yes.
2004?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So, but I don't know what angered the president to say Nigeria will not be more. British Airways was bad. Margaret Thatcher resuscitated British Airways and dumped a lot of pound sterling and restructured that organization and make it British Airways of new era.
Yeah.
Nobody can bail out Nigeria Airways. The people, the missing money, all the money done there were classified in Justice Wanzata panel of inquiry. The civil the public officers, the small clerks and the officers were not involved in the fraud. We are not involved in the issue of Nigeria Airways, but the big people come from the military, from the political arm of the economy, from who.
So it was a mishmash of so many things.
It is a mission accomplished for self-accomplishment.
Okay, sorry. Let's fast forward now. 45 billion naira.
Yes.
For the taking or for the asking.
We're not talking about 45 billion naira alone. Yeah. We have lost nearly 100 people dead because of they don't have the means of livelihood. They cannot live. They cannot send their children to school. They cannot buy medicine, even counter medicine, outside counter medicine. They cannot afford to live. They die prematurely at the roadside. That's what we are crying for. You see your colleagues dying anyhow, like cats and rats. Yeah. In a country that's supposed to be a multi-million organization.
Avoidably, the deaths were avoidable.
Most of them, yes. Most of them.
The Presidential Initiative on Continuous Audit, PICA, madam, is in the news. Break it down for us.
Well, I'm not too sure.
No, let me get it.
Let me just say this before you continue, sir. Yeah, then the news, they're doing, from what I read in the media myself and here on, they're doing a good job trying to gather these pensioners together and automate the system whereby they don't have to go queuing in the sun and in the rain year in, year out to do verification. Now they're trying to digitalize the process. It's a good one, you know, that the government has done. But they haven't come to us. We haven't felt PICA. The only way we have felt PICA is, if I must say, not actually to, not necessarily to our advantage, because we understand.
From feelers you get?
Yes, from feelers, because I mean, initially, what the money due to Nigeria Airways pensioners is not 45 billion, it's actually 78. So we know that all the PICA is involved in the process of working on this figure, that what we have now is 45. And we don't even have any explanation. It's one of the problems we have. You know, we need to start, government needs to start thinking that they owe people some explanation for the actions that they take.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I think that's very vital. Nobody has told us how 78 became 45.
But as we say, Dr. Mahon, have bread in the local palace.
No, I agree. Absolutely.
It's better than groundnut.
Absolutely.
Give us what you have at the moment.
Absolutely.
Even if it's not enough, the campaign continues until I die.
All right, so you are going to spread PICA a lot more.
No, okay, yes, that's right. PICA is a major part of our problem.
Okay.
It's an audit, pre-audit arm of the Ministry of Presidential Task Force. Payment, salary, and allowances are based on routine audit, sample auditing. Your salary is 20,000. No audit will bring it to 19.5. It is 20,000 unless you are committing an offense. The way they have brought our salary, they are denying all this of pension areas or not. I don't see why it's unconstitutional, procedural, and very, very violating human constituents. In actual fact, they are doing more than they can chew. But because we are hungry, give us what you have. The people we should thank at the office of the Minister of State for Aviation. They did a lot of all this compilation, did everything. Do everything and sent it to a segment that is junior to him. They blew a lot of feathers. They want to check this, they want to check. A lot of professionalism come on board. When so even do area where we are not even qualified. But that's notwithstanding, we are hungry. People are, so I say, when are they paying? You go to see your friend in the hospital, have they paid now? He said, no, I see. Waiting, they say the thing is still with the PICA. Yeah. The person collapses, dies.
Please don't raise emotion here. But,
okay, no emotion. I'm just telling you.
It's okay.
Okay,
I know it's natural.
We want our money.
Okay.
We want the government to please. We remain everlastingly grateful to President Muhammad Buhari because minus him, other government presidents have come and gone with the promises and promises unfulfilled. But this man came, he promised, and he wants to actualize. But it's actual, the actual effort making, the process is not being monitored.
Okay.
If it's being monitored, you just approve, I approve. Who monitors the approval? The civil servant. Bureaucracy comes on board. The civil servant professionally, they're all bureaucrats. 90% of the civil servants, they are bureaucrats. They don't believe that somebody must survive. They want you to pass. They want to step on people's toes before you survive to live.
Madam, the Nigeria Airways of yore, I cannot forget it in a hurry. And
neither can I.
It begs the question of, is it possible to revive it in some way, in some form?
Absolutely.
In passing, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People are setting up new airlines every day, even now. Absolutely. It's always been a question of political will. That's all it's always been. And I'm sure that the problems that the old Nigeria Airways had, a new Nigeria Airways will not have it. Okay. You were saying something about the military.
Yeah.
I was reading a book by one of our colleagues, His Royal Highness Femi Ogunleye.
Okay.
I read it again just a few days ago. And this problem dates back to 1961. In 1961, a research was conducted, and the consultant said the structure of Nigeria Airways, the financial structure, was untenable. Okay. And that problem existed until the Nigeria Airways was liquidated.
It was a bomb waiting to explode.
Yes, yeah. I mean, because again, Nigeria became a victim of the old and the new. When Nigeria Airways was set up, we're not set up to be a profit-making company. It wasn't a profit. It was just fly our flag, a national carrier, image maker, as was common with many of the newly independent countries at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when the dynamics changed and people were clamoring for profit making and all that, nobody bothered to change the structure. So, and then we became a victim of things like the foreign exchange, you know, remember?
Yeah.
All of those things. And another country in Africa suffered the same disease, but the treatment was different. Ethiopian Airlines.
Ethiopia.
Yes.
I was going to mention Ethiopian Airlines.
Exactly.
But it's still in the air.
Exactly. But because what happened? Because government of Ethiopia gave special considerations to that airline as the national airline, being mindful of the special status it occupied in the economy. It was not subject to many of the economic restrictions.
Yeah.
They could import things. The Ethiopian Airlines store or shop was the only place you could get foreign goods in Ethiopia. You couldn't get it anywhere. They had special rate of exchange and all of that. And then management stability. Captain Ahmed was MD of that airline for so many years. Until he decided to take another job in America. But in Nigeria Airways, the average span of the CEO is 18 months.
If you say that again, Captain Ahmed, Ethiopia?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
He was in office for 13 years.
That's something Dr. Maho,
yeah.
you feel like, after listening to that,
yes.
you feel like writing a book on
I have a book on Nigeria Airways.
Why things don't seem to work in Nigeria.
Let me give you a summary. Apart from my book, Evolution of Civil Aviation in Nigeria, 1925 to 2010, is outside. I can send you a copy. I dedicated it to Ivas Mashalokbere because he was one of the best administrators, managing director, chief executive that knew our mission. He's a captain in the air, he's a pilot, he's an avionics organizer, and he understands. We will discuss his views, not say approve or disagree. We will discuss. At times he will climb down, accept my view. That's the person I raised, and that book was dedicated to him.
It's one of the hallmarks of a great administrator.
Okay. You know what killed Nigeria was? Obasanjo and KLM. They brought KLM to run Nigeria Airways because KLM was our competitor in the European sector. We were sharing co-partner shares. Drawing cabinet, we put a flight down.
Right.
Let me tell you.
No, let me place a little lead. Time is the master here.
No, let me conclude this one, please.
Dr. Mao, I'm in charge here. Let's take this commercial.
I will conclude it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take this break. Nigeria Airways post-liquidation troubles. Please don't go. All right, folks, welcome back. Nigeria Airways post-liquidation troubles. I have two former staffers of the airline here, Helen Efue, Mrs., and Dr. Steve Mahon, who had something to say before the break.
Yes. The government of the federal government of Nigeria, headed by General Olusegun Obasanjo, brought in KLM at that time, 1979, brought in KLM to repackage Nigeria.
Oh, you're taking us back to 79?
No, hold on. What killed Nigeria was, we're asking.
Okay.
The KLM being a competitor with Nigeria was on the European sector. So what they do, we were 75 people. There was 1,000 people when they came. Everybody was shouting that the figure was too much. So KLM left and made it 150,000. Employ everybody. They put salary as they like. If you have a grandmother that can dance for them, you can employ her to come on board. They ended up ruining Nigeria Airways, R-U-I-N, ruining Nigeria Airways, and left at the expiration of the 2-year contract. Well, they had the action to renew it for the next 3 or 4 years, but they couldn't. People were not happy.
And so it went down.
They brought in clerks from KLM to be supervisory directors. There's only the personnel department that has no supervisory director because I rejected one who they say I should work under. When I do my write-up, he will remove my name and put his name and type the letter and sign it. I said, that's plagiarism. Nigerian law does not permit it. I will report you to my director and director to a KLM managing director. I did so. They said they're going to sack me. I said, let me go. I will tell the press. The man, before I came on following my director of administration, Alhaji Bature, said, Steve, you have sacked one KLM. I said, no, I'm not getting power to sack. He said, one don't go last night. He said, he cannot tolerate you.
Oh, I see.
You see why I'm in. It's not easy to.
Madam, so this is willful.
Yes.
It is willful. And that is why, before we started, I was saying that the problems of Nigeria Airways, in my view, basically the quality of ownership.
Man-made.
Man-made. It's not even that it's owned by government.
Yeah.
Government can own an enterprise and be very conscientious about it. But if your ownership is viewed solely from the point of view of your rights and your privileges, not your commitments, not your obligations, the result is exactly what you have. I think that to a very large extent, there was recklessness in terms of people forgot that they were dealing with a business. It was, the richest people in the country, the wealthiest people were those who flew free. I mean, people just walked in because you remember those days, and that was not the way it was supposed to be. And then people will tell you, the average Nigerian will tell you, oh, people were flying all over the world, oh, you had free tickets. That was an international privilege for anybody that worked for an airline.
Prided themselves on getting free tickets at the time.
Well,
Dr. Mahon, we must go back to liquidation. And so we're looking at the fixed assets and some movable assets. People talk about the assets of the Nigeria Airways, and the picture is so narrow.
Like the clothes of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Okay. The property of Nigeria was shared by the people that matter.
Garments.
I don't have
the
one.
garment, okay. Shredded.
Well, the properties of Nigeria were shared by those that matter. I don't have one. I built my own house in Miro, but my contemporaries built their own house in Lagos. That's the situation. Okay. All hands are not equal. If you go into the politics of Nigerian assets and liabilities, we will not live here today. As you advise, when I go home, I will put another book.
Why things don't seem to work in Nigeria.
Yes, okay. With Nigeria Airways as an example.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, critical. So as at today is November 30th, 2017.
Yeah.
How may we, in a cursory manner, look at the troubles of the staffers? So any ray of sunshine in the horizon?
Yes, from two sources, really. You know, like we have a situation where people don't prefer information. Government don't tell us what's going on, so we can only put your
even
what you hear.
Freedom of information
exactly.
environment.
You know, it's you know, rumors, and when, in the absence of nothing, you go with rumors. You know, but however, I think that there are two sources of ray of hope. Mr. President himself, who's been kind enough to take interest in this matter and to say that this money should be paid, and actually made a public statement to that fact. And the Honorable Minister of Aviation, Minister of State for Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, who has been a kind of campaigner for the staff of Nigeria Airways, possibly because these people are people who know Nigeria Airways. They were, you know, they were thick with us. But I don't think that's the only reason, because some other presidents were also aware of the role we played, the meritorious role, crucial role we played in the affairs of this nation. Our pilots flying into danger zones, war zones where they were not even covered by their pilots' insurance. You know, so the ray of hope is that will happen. And then we have heard the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, God bless her, who has also said that the money will be paid before Christmas. Our message...
So you look to a bumper Christmas? Yeah.
Our message is that this money should be paid like tomorrow, not before Christmas, because this is really it's a serious emergency, and it's been on for so long. And if the president, we know that there'll be procedure, there's a process to follow, but we know also that we can speed up this process.
Yeah, you talk about competing demands.
Yes, exactly, we know, and we know that there are things on the plate, but I don't think that there are many people who belong to the category of Nigeria Airways. I don't think there are too many such people. Yeah. Just prioritize and make a commitment, and just pretend that this was you in our shoes. That's all we need to do.
Your unions must be doing something in that direction. You know, just calming the nerves of.
Constitutionally, only Nigerian Union of Pensioners. Okay. It's the constitutionally approved union for pensioners of an organization like Nigeria Airways. Okay. The other unions are there. Everyone's scrambling to be the head cook, the head chef. But we want that the Constitution allows the NUP 1% deduction for their expenses and every capital investments, expenses incurred and every other thing, etc., to Kujab. But whoever wants to rob us will be playing with God.
No. Raymond from Wari is reaching us now. Raymond, welcome.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome. Let's go.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning to
Madam.
Party and Madam. How are you doing?
Good morning.
The story is touching. Why things don't work in Nigeria? Nigeria Airway as a case of study. I thought when I was young, similar thing. Nigerian shipping line is dead. Nigeria Railway Corporation is dead. If I want to strongly beg, still, from my own point of view, you are not too old not to be in the scheme of things. People like you that know the nitty-gritty of the business should still be striving either to be a consultant, to advise, liaising with the government, because most of the time our value system is wrong. So we're only looking at one person. We're looking at the president's body language. We're looking at the minister's body language. And those guys are politicians. They will come and go. the institutions will be there. If we have the institutions that will sustain themselves over time, then the people will not be having these issues. A lot of the retirees that cannot meet their obligations, it will affect the destiny of their children. And some of those persons will not become a liability to the society. Then will not blame God for the rest
Thank you.
Art.
Thank you. Got you first time. Doc, the eye cannot see itself except by reflection.
Yes.
Now, let me be your reflector now. Don't you think the Nigeria Airways, on the inside, they're also responsible, a part of the trouble?
A percentage of the staff are responsible, but not a very high one.
Okay.
Very negligible one.
Yeah, but one little egg can spoil the whole.
You know what? When you come with as a commander or the chief executive, everything, you come with a contingent of people, floodgate of supporters, like political cowards. They call themselves supporters. They come with your people, you put them in strategic position with little or no experience. Their commander, their manager, they form the bandwagon of those who destroy Nigeria Airways. I was retired at the age of 44, and now what they were saying. I was retired at the age of 44. I was supposed to work for 65 or thereabout, because they say one of my brothers is a big man.
As you say this, you are closing because the next guest, as I warned earlier on, is
okay.
here.
No problem.
How do you close?
Well, I would just like to appeal again to the powers that be to please speed up this process and to let us know what is going on. If they can do that, if they have a date of payment, they should please communicate.
Just a little, I'm sorry. Robert, I hear you are reaching us from Akwa Ibom. Can we hear you?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Hello?
Yeah, you are on. Let's go, Robert.
Hello?
Robert, you are on. Let's go. No luck. Yeah, so.
Yes, so we look forward to a good end of the year, that the year will end well for these pensioners and that there'll be hope. And also for the families of those who have unfortunately passed on during these 13 years of drought. That's what I would like to say.
God will give them the fortitude to bear the loss.
Okay.
Thank you.
I want to thank you very kindly.
Jones,
Mrs. Helen Efue, many thanks for coming.
Thank you, Jones.
And Dr. Steve Mahon, love to have you here again.
Thank you.
Yeah, next we are going to talk about made in Nigeria products and services. How I wish a made in Nigeria national carrier would be back in the skies. I can't wait for it. Please stay, don't go away, don't go away. All right, folks, welcome to the second and final quarter on this morning. Now, the all-important campaign for Made in Nigeria products and services is in the air. The flag off is built for December 4th through the 5th at the Tafawa Balewa Square here in Lagos. I have three members of the team to help sweet sell Made in Nigeria products and services. Mrs. Okpewe Omololu is, by definition, Director, Commodities and Products Inspectorate Department at the Ministry of Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. Madam, I welcome you.
Thank you very much.
There's also Umar Goni Ahmed, Assistant Director, assists Madam. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And of course, the man who says he's made in Nigeria himself, William Ihadacho.
Good morning.
He's a consultant too.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm particularly happy none of you is wearing anything made by Onyibo. Otherwise, I would have started from there. But I'm like, let's start. Yeah, Made in Nigeria, laudable campaign. But our trouble is, that's on this part, our trouble on this side, is that those of you in government promote made overseas, you import them. So the music is about to change. It's a tall order. How do you go about it?
Well, we have so many programs that had been on, and as regards campaign for Made in Nigeria. And it is actually a deliberate effort of federal government to ensure that the masses actually consume the goods and services produced in Nigeria in terms of to increase industrialization. And actually, we've done so much. We've done the flag off in Kano, and we have also done the press launch to inform the masses about it, because federal government believes that by that we will definitely kind of discourage the penchant for import goods that Nigerians are known to have, and then we consume what we produce, so that at least at the long run there will be increase in employment, the foreign exchange will be conserved, and Nigeria will move up in terms of economy and become one of the best in the world. But so far...
Because at the time we were one of the best.
Yeah, but we actually towing towards that line now, especially with the ease of doing business with government. Government is trying to make business operations easier in government, and then for the Nigerians now to consume what is being produced in the country.
Yeah. I'm tempted to ask, very tempted to ask Williams, when last did you chew a grown-in Nigeria chicken?
Well, let me just put the record straight.
Put it straight.
Yes. For the past close to 5 years, I've not driven any imported vehicle. I drive innocent. Everybody knows that. And it's branded. I wear Made in Nigeria shoes.
Don't advertise anything here. But it's okay, yeah.
All right, but we encourage our people. We have leading brands. We are not advertising them. It's part of the campaign. I eat strictly made in Nigeria chicken, either from the poultry or native fowl. And we have been running the campaign in the ministry in spirit and in truth, because people don't really listen to what you say. They watch what you do, and they feel you, whether you're a hypocrite. And we actually live our life to the best of our ability, exhibiting and expressing that which we are championing, because very many people will ask you if you are criticizing. I'll be on TV and they are lash out to elites. So they will ask me all manner of questions, and I can take them on from the kitchen value chain to the garage, totally even to your boxer and your singlet. So we have to really practice what we preach. And that has been a major definition of our lifestyle concerning the Made in Nigeria campaign in the ministry.
When I told Madam we were there before, she didn't seem quite convinced.
Yes.
Williams's Aba should have been the Japan of Nigeria. We tout that so much, and I'm wondering why not. And your Kano up there should have been a hub. So we are making our ways back. Is it easy?
Well, thank you very much. It's very, very glaring to know, and it's pertinent to mention here that, like for Kano, it's good that you made an example with Kano. You can see Kano, I mean Lagos State particularly, you know, with the kind of, capacity that it has for milling. A typical example you can see is the partnership that the present governor, Ambode, His Excellency, is partnering with Kebbi State government, particularly on the issue of branding Nigerian rice. They source for their paddy rice from Kebbi all the way, and they bring it down to Lagos here particularly, and they mill it and they brand it Nigerian rice. And you can see quite recently the number of competition between Nigerian rice and the Thailand rice. It's very, very, very slim. It's very, very close. People are now, more than before, more than ever, patronizing Made in Nigerian rice as against the Thailand rice or the Indian rice that floats into this market. And through this venture, you can see that Nigeria has saved more than 16 billion, I can tell you authoritatively, you know, from the import of rice into this country. And that goes to show that Nigerians are now really, really interested in patronizing what is being produced in Nigeria. And again, on the other part, you can also see from the 41 items that CBN banned from importation into this country. At that particular period, you discover that most of the industries now started looking inwards of sourcing for their raw materials. And you can see with that, that led to conservation of foreign exchange into this country. And apart from that, again, you can also see that the policies of government is favoring most of these industries. The enabling environment is being, created for them to also key into these government policies, and they're taking advantage of it.
All right, we have a caller on the line. Let's bring him on. Please, Dominic is on the line. Please feel welcome.
Hello, good morning, John.
Yeah, welcome.
Let me help the question you asked.
Okay.
I came from the southeast. Can you hear me?
We are on.
I came from the southeast. I am a shoemaker by profession. Before, if you're coming from southeast, I came from Aba. As you go to school, you go to your uncle in Kenya to practice shoemaking. I'm a shoemaker before I went to school. By 1980, UNDP has predicted that Aba will be the China of Nigeria by year 2000. It's when the politician came and destroyed that policy, especially the governor from Abia State, Ochikan precisely. Instead of him to build a doctoral hangout in Aba, he built faculty and criminology and keep that industry. But let me say this, we don't need to advertise made in Nigeria. What we need is to create environment. Nigerians are very, very creative. If we go to Aba, we create everything. Go to Aba, from shoe to pot to everything. What we need is not this campaign on television. We need to create power. If there's power, everybody will be doing one thing or the other.
Yeah.
And if us two here can compete what is done in Japan, in Dubai, in China.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very kindly. Madam, you see, his voice was rising.
Yeah.
So at the base is power.
Yeah.
Power and power.
Mr. Dominic, without missing words, the federal government is very much aware of the lack of infrastructure. And as at now, you should have listened to the Minister of Works, Mines and Power that they are actually increasing the megawatts for power consumption in Nigeria. It's part of the ease of doing business that Nigeria government is trying to generate. So you find out that if this campaign is not on, even if you have the light, if you have the energy you're producing and nobody is buying what you're producing, definitely you will pack up one day. But what we are saying is that even the little that you are producing, we don't want Nigerians to have their penchant for imports again, but for them to look inwards. That little that you are producing should be encouraged. We want to encourage them.
Let me give you a little challenge, and the two gentlemen here would say yes to this. The problem is more with the women. Maybe you don't see what I'm saying.
You see, the women
can
never be the problem in this country.
Ask me how.
Okay, how?
Their hunger for foreign goods is gargantuan.
You could find out that maybe you are being a bit male chauvinistic or something. That's why you're saying that women. Men are even the one that will prefer to buy the most expensive thing because they buy one in 10 years. They will not want to replace. But women, we are the one that buy this type of material. We are the one that do not allow
outside of this country.
No, made
outside of this
made
country.
in Nigeria.
Oh, really?
That is what we are trying to encourage the women to do now. Yeah. And you find out that most of the SMEs we are bringing to the Tafawa Balewa Square, actually most of them are women.
All right, just pause a little. George from Victoria Island. George, welcome.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I want to say I'm a businessman, and on this made in Nigeria goods, the first thing I would want to suggest is if our government can stop importation for 5 years, importation in all angles, not in some particular aspect, they can stop importation for just 5 years. This country will move forward in made in Nigeria goods.
Yeah.
Because the inferior products coming from China and other parts of the country, other parts of the world are actually spoiling the whole thing. Then secondly, another thing that can make this country to move forward, not just in made in Nigeria goods, but in every other place, is law and order. If law and order can work in Lagos, for example, the whole country is safe. because Lagos is the bone of
the hub.
the backbone of the country.
Is a hub. Many thanks, sir. Many thanks.
Yeah. You see,
need I say more?
Yes, let me.
The reason why we actually brought in the Buy Made in Nigeria campaign is to Lagos now is because federal government realizes that it's one of the backbones of the economy of this country. And from all indication, what he's saying is that goods and services should be banned. We should ban importation. You know, the truth about it is that when you have signed trade policy with so many countries, multilateral and bilateral, there are some things you don't do. There are some things you don't do. But Nigeria has actually curtailed the importation of goods and services coming into the country. The only problem we have is in terms of our porous borders that goods are smuggled into the country. But I believe that the NCS, they are capable of blocking that aspect and ensuring that that area is controlled. But as it is, the federal government is ensuring that goods and services that can be produced in the country
must be patronized.
And they are actually banning those ones.
And the quality
and standards are there. Yeah.
Okay, I have Nai is reaching us from Jos Plateau. Nai, welcome.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Welcome.
I would like to start from where Madam just ended now. The quality, the quality is the issue now. Because if we look at it, we discover our elites, our rulers always pronounce these policies that make for us death on arrival. What do I mean? They don't even practice it. If you doubt me, go back and check yesterday's Federal Executive Council. Count how many of them had made in Nigeria goods. Now we are left to see as martyrs that these policies are just made for us. And so the products, the quality of the products are not even techniques. Talk about services. Our education here, if we are to patronize the services of our education here, it's just for those of us that cannot afford the big ones, because even those in the helm of affairs of our institutions send their children abroad, putting their in doubt of the quality of the services here. Unless and until our rulers make it a policy to patronize their policies and make us look as if they are viable.
Thank you. The message is simple. Practice what you preach.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yes. Well, first of all, let me tell her that the regulatory agencies, such as Standard Organization of Nigeria, are very effective, efficient. They are executing their mandates according to the scope to which they are supposed to, handle. And therefore, the issue of quality is being addressed. I mean, maybe because it has not been really been, entrenched in the media so much. But I know the publicity is out there. People should also try to find out more information about that. That is that.
Then in addition, in addition to that.
Sorry, are you done?
It's okay, go ahead.
Okay.
In addition to that, you find out that when you talk of quality and standards, this Made in Nigeria campaign, the federal government had gone ahead now to constitute a committee to ensure that the quality of what is to be brought to Tafawa Balewa on the 4th and 5th is of the best international. And in fact, most of them are export ready.
Can you, in all honesty, say that the committee is a qualitative one?
Yes, the committee is a qualitative one. And even the the ministry is championing, going to all the ministries to patronize. Because you see, if the Rome was not built in a day,
you can see Rome in a day.
We all know what happened to China products. When China products were being brought to this country, once you buy the phone we have everything, within 1 year is gone. But we kept on patronizing. All we are saying is encourage what is being done in here. The mistakes can be corrected and the quality will get there. If you don't start now, they keep on producing, they are not being patronized, they will be discouraged and they close up. That's the truth. Anything that is produced needs to be reviewed until it is perfected. All we are saying is, Nigerians, why don't you look inwards before you think of outside?
But nobody will quarrel, Williams, nobody will quarrel with the creative inventiveness of Nigerians. But again, you talk about fake goods. We have this penchant, this penchant for being the bus stop for fake goods.
Let me tell you something, taking cue from my people here. Recently, Standard Organization busted a cabal that brought in 8 billion naira worth of substandard cables labeled made in Nigeria, realizing that one of the flagship products that Nigeria is made and known for is electrical cables. We have the best in the world. They brought a very prime brand, labeled it made in Nigeria, and had NIS stamp on it. You can go Google it. They did that. Then some other group of people, close to 40-something billion naira worth of goods, they were changing the expiry date. Standard Organization did that busting. In fact, in the past 1 year, they have done wonderful work. Now, let me tell you the problem we have, and I want to say it very clearly on TV. The bulk of the products you have as fake products are not made in Nigeria. Nigeria makes the best shoes. We make good shirts.
Yeah, but they are brought in by Nigerians.
That's what I'm trying to say.
No, don't wish that away.
Yes, no, don't wish away.
Yeah.
Every nation has its own bad people.
Oh, we
people
must
clone in America, in Hong Kong, everywhere. In fact, China is known, it's on record, is the largest counterfeiting place on earth. So you can.
But we don't hope to beat them.
No, we don't want to beat them. Yeah. But Nigerian industrialists are very good. I've never seen any fake made in Nigeria drug by the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. It doesn't happen. We know that. And Nigerian vehicles are strong. Made in Nigeria. Yes, they are made in Nigeria. Very strong. Okay. So the things we specialize in.
You are closing as you say that, yeah.
Yes, yeah. I'm closing. Yeah. I just wanted to talk the issue.
No, you are closing. Go on.
On the issue of women. Women are the chief purchasing officers of every home. So I want to appeal to them that we need them in the campaign. I don't want to compare a consumption pattern, but I just want to show that they are a critical structure in the media.
Even if the husbands don't want, the women go worry the men.
Yes, so we are recruiting them to be vanguards of the Made in Nigeria campaign. Even in the offices, the women, they influence.
Omar, how do you close?
Well, let us not forget that there are so many frontiers through which government is doing this advocacy. Like of recent, there's a directive that all the procurements of the ministries, departments, and agencies of government must ensure that 40% must be local content. That is to say, like the uniform, services, the immigration, the customs, the civil defense, their belts, their berets, their boots must be bought, will be sourced locally from Nigeria. And you can see that government is leading by example. It's for the private sector also to key into this drive and to ensure that this campaign for Made in Nigeria is also being addressed holistically. And then again, I want to also say that the campaign for this campaign and flag of Made in Nigeria is something that is being acceptable by Nigerians. It is also reliable. It is dependable by the industries and manufacturers. Yeah. It is something that is implementable.
Yeah, Omar, but it goes beyond sloganeering, Madam, how do you close quickly?
Well, I'll close with the comments on women.
Okay.
And just to make them to realize that most of the materials being produced in Nigeria are being taken out of this country and then labeled as if they are imported goods. Then we now start patronizing them and buying. So let us look inwards. We have the best materials here in Nigeria.
Thank you. All right, on that note, we cannot but thank Umar Goni Ahmed. Many thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Madam is Okpewe Omololu, right?
Thank you very
much.
And
Made in Nigerian man is William Ihanacho.
Thank you very much, but you didn't tell me your name.
Oh, I am Jones Hussein.
Good.
Made in Nigeria.
God bless you.
You want me to remove the Jones? I will after this show. but let's say this. The trouble with parboiled rice, I've been told, authoritatively, is you can't keep it over 24 hours. Try lake rice, which is not parboiled.
Yeah.
It will stay and stay. That's the difference.
Sweeter.
On this note, let me sign off. There's another program tomorrow. Take care of yourself. On behalf of the Backroom Boys, I say good morning.